And we are live. Welcome to the RacingBet preview ahead of racing at Caulfield and Randwick on Saturday, February 12th. Of course, the first Group 1 of 2022. I'm your host, Tim Geers, joined by Trent Crebbin. We're brought to you by www.betdeluxe.com.au this week. So if you are having a bet on the first Group 1, which is the CF Orr Stakes at Caulfield, make sure you do so with betdeluxe.com.au. Trent, stacked card in Melbourne this week. We've got some good horses returning in Sydney. We've got, of course, as I said, the CF Orr at Caulfield. We've got Very Elegant, Espiona and Co., and plenty of other good horse flesh in Sydney. So a lot to look forward to.
Yeah, absolutely. It's kind of the kickoff point for a lot of horses, isn't it? And yeah, the Melbourne card, like you said, is stacked full of really top class races. There's a lot of good horses resuming in the Orr and throughout the card. And yeah, we've got the Melbourne Cup winner coming back and also the Boom filly Espiona in Sydney. So it's a huge day of racing. Can't wait.
And if you are watching us live, as you tune in now on Facebook or YouTube or Twitter, whatever it may be, make sure you throw us a like. If you're on YouTube, make sure you subscribe so you get our videos as soon as they come out to you. Every little bit helps the show progress. So we appreciate your support and we appreciate if you're tuning in live now. Hopefully we can find you a winner or two along the way. We got a good one at Happy Valley last night, Trent. God bless Purton. He's only ridden, I think, 9 in the last 2 meetings, and he's making up for lost time from that horror fall back in the Hong Kong Sprint in December. And with Joe on the sideline for another 4 meetings, there's every chance that Zach puts a little margin on him in the Jockeys Premiership.
Yeah, Purton's just riding ridiculously well. I think I showed you that one. I might have missed it, where he just took off from the back. Whipped around the field when they slowed down at about 800 metres out and just kept running. He's probably the most informed jockey in the world right now. And yeah, it should be another fascinating title race in the Hong Kong Jockey Premiership. Yeah,
Karis Teaton tried to replicate that ride last night on one of his horses and it tailed off to finish second last about 15 lengths behind him. So.
Not many jockeys can do it. So Ollie do it a couple of weeks ago, Damien Oliver on Russo. Yeah, whip around them halfway through. Yeah, it takes a bit of guts to do it, but it also takes a lot of knowledge to know when's the right time to do it.
Plenty more in Hong Kong to come, but like I said, we've got a big weekend here in Australia, Caulfield and Randwick. Talk to me about this track at Caulfield. How do you suspect it's going to play?
I think it should play okay. There was a meeting here. I think the last meeting here was definitely an advantage to be on speed on the rails. It's going to be a good 4, probably be a good 3 after race 1. Yeah, I'd say no disadvantage, especially in the sprint races. If you can kick away on the bend, you'll like being out in front, but it should play okay.
Randwick, on the other hand, I think they predicted somewhere between 8 and 20 mils of rain in Sydney tomorrow. So if that hits Randwick, we're definitely going to be on a wet track. It's a soft 5 as we speak at the moment. Rail in the 5-metre position, so hopefully he plays fairly. But yeah, I'd be planning for at least probably around a soft 6, if not in the heavy range, if that rain does fall. So look for wet trackers on Saturday at Randwick. All right, let's get into our best bets to kick off the show, Trent. And yours is coming up in the very first race at Caulfield on the weekend. Race number 1, you're backing a couple of horses here. Horse number 2, In the Boat, looking to make it about 10 straight wins or something. And horse number 3, Fundraiser. I think your best result's going to be Fundraiser, though.
Yeah, I'm going to be backing both. Just at the prices, Fundraiser around $6. I'll make him the better result. So we'll start with him. Last start, he stepped up from 1,200 metres to 1,500 metres at Moonee Valley, and I thought they were going to be more positive from the inside gate, and they were. The problem with that, he kind of just backfired. You just see him tailing off there into 3rd. They went out at a ridiculously fast tempo. The leader was beaten a long way. They ended up breaking the track record there at Moonee Valley that day. And I just think that the Swoopers had the better run given how the race was run there. 3rd up now, he drops back to 1,400 metres, which I like. He's got a good record at the distance. Barrier 1 again. I think he probably lands just behind the leader, and I think he's going to be, ready to pounce and thereabouts at the end. So Fundraiser, a good result at $6, but I definitely don't want to lose on number 2, In the Boat, who, like you said, is really putting up the picket fence. I think he's won his last 4. The first of them coming at Warrnambool over 1,300 metres, and the most recent at the Valley over 1,200 metres, where he led all the way. He's been running some really nice times as well, doing it from the front and doing it at both ends. Steps up to 1,400 metres here for the first time, but I think he gets a nice easy lead again. There's not much pressure on paper, so I think he'll get every chance to run it out. He's going to take a lot of running down And if he does start to tire, I think Fundraiser is going to be the one getting off his back and getting over the top. So, really happy to be with 2 in the boat and 3 Fundraiser. I'm pretty confident one of them will win.
Okay, race number 1. Hopefully start the day at Caulfield with a bang. I'm going to wait till near the end of the card at Randwick. I'm also going to be playing 2 horses, but pretty keen. Well, I thought it was a really difficult card overall. I feel like I say this every week, but it worked out all right last week with Joviality. God bless her. But I thought the best on a tough card, the only race I could really settle on having a good crack at was race number 9. And I'm keen on horse number 4, Snap Dancer, here for the Ma Usta stable with J-Mac taking the ride at 54.5. Now, J-Mac doesn't normally get down to that sort of weight unless they can win. I think this horse can. It's returned in terrific order this preparation. First up, running second behind Special Reward. We've seen Special Reward go on and win again since. So the form out of that race is good, and that was on a soft 5. So hoping if the track does stay in the soft range here that it doesn't hurt her too much. And then she went to the Gold Coast and won the Fillies and Mares Magic Millions race by a length and 3/4. I think I've got the replay here for us, but there's always a kind of a query on this sort of form returning to Sydney. I mean, she's only beaten Volpine there and then Kiko back in third, but I just think she's gone really well this preparation. I am slightly wary of the fact that she's never won third up before, but she was beaten half a length in the Magic Millions Cup. The Fillies Mares race last year, beaten half a length, third up from a spell. So I think the stable have got it going well, drawn nicely. J-Mac on 54.5 kilos, handles all track conditions, has had 5 starts at the distance for 3 wins and 2 placings, and 2 starts at the track and distance for a win and a second. So I think there's plenty to like. And yeah, in a field of pretty even mares at Group 3 level with the for the mares, I just thought that she could take care of this lot. I do like the price and offer about Mirror Vision, though, horse number 5. She's first up here. Last preparation, I think she had 1, 2, 3, 4 wins from about 7 or 8 starts. So you look at her overall record, she's had 7 from 19. So she's obviously got plenty of talent. She's had 3 wins from 4 starts when first up from a spell, and she loves the soft ground. 8 starts, 5 wins and a second placing. So everything points towards a big run from her here. I like the trial. Just has to overcome the tricky draw out in Barrier 13 for Sam Clipperton, but she's won these sorts of races before. She won the Yank Stakes over a mile last preparation. And I thought if they had her ready to go, the Snowdens, I thought she could run us a race, and she appeared the value at $12 in the race. So I'll be back in Mirror Vision and Snap Dancer, race number 9 at Randwick, is my best bets of the day. Trent, something for the punters at slightly better quote. Your best value bet of the day coming up in race number 5 at Caulfield. You're with horse number 2, Mallory, $7.50 each way quote for the punters.
Yeah, each way quote. I'll probably just be going on the nose myself, but we are going to cop a couple of deductions. I'm not much of an each way punter, but we are going to cop a couple of deductions anyway because there's a couple of Godolphin horses that are going to be running in Sydney that will come out. So probably come down to around about $6, $6.50 or so. But I still think that's a really good price. She is first up here, down from Sydney. She's trialled really well. The first one, she beat home Ranch Hand and Zethus. Of course, both of those colts came out and ran second in their respective first up runs. And then she trialled really well behind Home Affairs, who of course we know is a very fast colt himself. So, look, I think there's a fair bit of intent here. They've put the blinkers on first time and brought her down to Melbourne off the back of some really nice trials. I just thought she's going to be the one that's going to be ready to rock and roll here. And I thought she was over the odds compared to the favourite, Scorched Earth, where she's up and running. She's had the 2 wins this preparation, but you go back to last preparation, and I don't think she was any better than a lot of the fillies that she meets here. So I'm hoping Mallory's ready to go, and I think if she is, she's going to be very hard to hold out here. So price on offer about her, I think it'll firm a bit as well. I'm happy to be with her as my best value of the day.
All right, my best value of the day. Again, I found it difficult to settle on anything, but when I came across this race, I was interested in backing a couple at decent prices. So this is the Group 3 Southern Cross Stakes at Randwick on the weekend, race number 6 on the card, over 1,200 metres. You see the likes of Lost and Running and Co. lining up here, but I'm interested in this horse for Annabelle Neesham. Once again, James McDonald, I'm going towards him. Laws of Indices, who's just had the 1 start in Australia, which was in the Golden Eagle first up. He ran 5th in that race, beaten a length and 3/4 after sitting probably 4 wide from the 900 metre mark. So, for a large portion of that Golden Eagle, he was off the track. And I thought his run to be beaten a length and 3/4, that his first run on Australian soil was terrific. I wouldn't be surprised if this horse goes to a race like the Doncaster. Interesting that he is still a colt. Of course, he did all his previous racing in the UK and France. Look, whether he's ready to go first up and whether she's going to have him ready to go first up for this race, given that they might have something like a Doncaster in mind, I'm not sure. He's yet to place from 3 starts, first up from a spell. But like I said, his effort first up in the Golden Eagle was terrific. And, we've seen through Zaki, a perfect example how being trained over here differently has brought about a significant improvement in his performance. So just thought with J-Mac booked, again, a little bit of a tricky gate, but he's going to relish the soft ground here. All 3 career wins have been on soft ground. So, I just thought with quite a few in this race, maybe not ready to go first up. If they did have this horse ready to go first up, I thought he could run us a race at around $8. And one horse that will be ready to go first up, without a doubt, is horse number 5, Embracer. Regan Bayless on board for Gay Waterhouse and Adrian Bott. There's no doubt that this horse will be, fit and fresh and firing. He's never missed a place from 5 starts, first up from a spell. He's had 3 wins at the distance. He goes well at the track and the distance. Probably a better horse on firm ground. So if it does absolutely, hurl down with rain, he's not going to be at his best. But he has won on soft and heavy before. So I just thought with a lot of horses, like I said, coming into this race, perhaps underdone, this is one horse that definitely won't be underdone. And at $12 or $13 or $14 or whatever price he is, I thought, you could do worse in the race. So make them my best value bets of the day. Race 6, number 2 and number 5 at Randwick. All right, CF Orr Stakes time. The first Group 1 of 2022. Why don't you take us through your thoughts, Trent?
Yeah, it's a really good field this year, to be honest. It's a lot of the times in the last few years, the Orr's been a little bit iffy, and they was talking about moving it, but it's come back here and it's really good. So I think, first of all, from a speed map point of view, I think Lightsaber, the 3-year-old, will lead. I think Behemoth and Tefane will push forward from wide-ish gates. And then you've got the likes, I think Cinnawon will be able to land just on midfield, just off the fence there. Lighthouse from Barrier 2 will be thereabouts. Just Folk, Sierra Sue, Wild Planet the next few. I'm Thunderstruck. I think he'll have to go right back with Inspirational Girl first up and give away a decent start. And for that reason, I'm with number 7, Cinnawon. He's backed into the favourite now. He's about $4.20. He comes out of the Australia Stakes, which is traditionally a really strong lead up for the CF Orr Stakes. That was behind Marabi, where he kind of got into an awkward position from an inside barrier, managed to get off heels late, and he really knuckles down the last kind of 200 metres once he balances up. It was a really good effort. He did a similar sort of run first up in Australia last preparation at Flemington, just kind of hit the line quite well, and then he really elevated second up at this track and distance at the Caulfield track, and he won a Group 3 in a really fast race. It rated quite well. And I just think he gets a nice map here from Barrier 6, just midfield, and he'll get a head start on a couple of his rivals. The second one that I was interested in was number 3, Behemoth. He's hard to knock, really. He's 5 starts at the track and distance for 3 wins. That's including, that's all 3 Group 1s. I think he's won 2 Memsies and a Rupert Clark. He was okay first up behind Kemmel Passer. He kind of just loomed to beat him and couldn't quite run him down. But you go back and look at the sectionals of his race, and I think he broke 33 seconds for his last 600, broke 22 seconds for his last 400. So it was just a dash home, and there wasn't much more he could really do. Jamie Carr takes the ride, he'll roll forward, and like I said, he's just really hard to knock given how well he goes at the track and distance. And I thought if there was one to include in your exotics or, for a little bit of value, number 12, Lightsaber, the 3-year-old. He was another one coming out of the Australia Stakes. I thought he ran really well there. Kind of took a sip there behind Marabi. She was obviously going to lead and battled on well. Second up at 1,400. I think he'll come off that. On the firm ground's going to help him as well, and he looks to map to the lead and control this race. So they were the 3 I was happy to play around. Cinnawon, Behemoth, and Lightsaber. I think if you Dutch them up, to win an equal amount, you get about $2.15 or so odds, and I think that's a decent way to play it. As you just see, Cinnawon just hitting the line well there. It bodes well for this, I think. Any thoughts there? Any other runners that took your fancy? Might be on mute there, Tim.
Thank you.
Okay.
People moving to and from in my joint, so just while you were speaking, switch myself off. Nah, no real thoughts for me. I haven't had a really good look or a good crack at the race. Tell me your thoughts on Cascadian, though.
I think he is running here. He was accepted in the Apollo as well, but I'm pretty sure I read that he's running here. Look, he goes okay first up. He's okay at 1,400 meters. Probably prefer him at a mile. I just hate barrier 1 for him because he's just got no early speed. He's going to be almost last on the fence, giving away a big start. And I just probably prefer him a little bit deeper into the preparation when he's fully fit at a mile, probably at Flemington. I think they're trying to get him into an all-star mile. That's, that would be the ideal race for him. So I just thought he'd get into an awkward spot and have a bit too much to do here first up at 1,400.
Yeah, it's interesting you made mention of Lightsaber there as well, because Peter Moody, I'm sure I heard him yesterday or the day before saying this horse will run a really good race.
Yeah,
he didn't necessarily declare him, but he gave it.
He said it was a good each way bet, and I definitely agree. Like, I never thought he was much chop going through his 3-year-old preparation. He won that race, the Guineas Prelude, at this track and distance, and they went so slowly that it just looked like a horrible bunch finish. But then when he found a faster race in the Caulfield Guineas at 1,600 meters, he ran super. He was the best of the on paces. I think it was the fastest Caulfield Guineas ever, and he was only beaten 2.7 lengths by Animo. That's just quality form anywhere you look. So he's going to map straight to the front. He's going to take a bit of running down. I definitely want to have him on side, the 3-year-old.
Yeah, I'd be. I'm pretty well in your corner with Sinawan. It's hard to ignore that. I suppose that run behind Maravi last start, getting up to 1,400 will suit. Won the Kevin Heffernan at this stage, last preparation over this track and distance. So there's plenty to like. And I think it was Anthony and Sam Friedman, or it might have been Sam Friedman, saying that this is the race they'd set him for. This is his target race.
Yeah, and that's another thing as well.
Which is kind of scary, which is kind of scarily a good thing because there's a lot of horses coming into this that this wouldn't be their first up. This wouldn't be their target race. It's just kind of a starting point for the autumn.
Yeah, I think there's probably only maybe 2 horses that it's their absolute target race for. And I'd say that'd be Sinawan and Lighthouse, who was just kind of been running over the summer and has been targeted at this race. But yeah, like you said, the 1,400 meters is ideal for him. And he just meets a few of these horses who are first up and potentially looking at an all-star mile or looking to come to Sydney. Like, for example, I'm Thunderstruck. We know how good he is. He won should have won the Rupert Clark here and then won the Toorak before winning the Golden Eagle. But Mick Price has come out and said, and Mick Price, when he says something, you generally listen because he's normally pretty spot on. Has come out and said, before his jump out, said he's just going to be underdone. He's going to go back. He's going to need a lot of things to go his way, and he's just not ready to go yet. He's a big horse. He needs a lot of time to get fit. And they're looking to run him in the Futurity and then the All-Star Mile and then potentially a Doncaster as well. So I just think while he's a very good talent, he's just potentially not going to be wound up and I can take him on at the price.
What are you doing with my girl, Inspirational Girl?
I think she's another one that'll need the run. I think she's had the one trial. It was okay. Drawn barrier 12. Look, she ran okay first up.
Enough to last, I would have thought.
She'll go right back. And be close enough to last, like you said. She ran okay first up in the Memsey, this track and trip, last prep. Behemoth won that by 2.5 lengths over Inspirational Girl. I just think she'll need the run, and she's been off for a while, so just look for her to hit the line, and again look to step her up in trip and see where she can get through this prep.
And finally, Sierra Sue. Can she do anything fresh? She had 5 wins from 7 starts at this distance and undefeated at the track and distance.
She's a tough one. I mean, she won the Rupert Clark that I'm Thunderstruck should have won. She carried 52.5 there. That was a handicap, and then was well beaten when I think she had a high irregularity. I think in the Toorak. Look, I'm just not sure she's up to weight for age level. She kind of, went on a bit of a winning streak last prep. She ran really well, but this is a whole different ball game. I think she's not hopeless, but I've definitely got a few ahead of her just on class wise. So. Happy to be against her. And same thing, similar with Tafane as well. I think she probably goes better with a couple of runs under her belt. She ran really well in the Memsey last prep as well. Started $3, ran third to Behemoth. So she's got to be in the game. But she's just another one that I just think I've got a couple more ahead of her. And I just, if you can't back them all, she's just at that price that I'm just happy to bet around her.
Yeah. Well, Sinawan for me, I'd be, if you gun to my head, I'd be backing it. And sounds like you're in the same corner, eh?
Yeah, exactly. We've just got a comment coming through here as well from Robbie for an earlier race. So that's the race that Robbie's talking about there. Race 2 is the Autumn Stakes. Mares. Now, I tipped this in our premium Discord group at Pakenham first up. It was about $2.80 or so. Don't have the replay for it, but go back and watch it, punters. It was an absolute horror show. Got into an awful position. Had to ease off here. Was about 4 times. Was about 8 lengths off them at the 400. And he took a while to pick up, but once he did, he motored to the line. Was beaten, a long neck or so on the line. It was not great watching. Look, I haven't tipped him. I'm actually not betting in that race. I thought it was very tricky, the Autumn Stakes, Robbie. I just thought potentially he might be looking for a little bit more ground. But if he strikes a faster race, that's definitely going to suit him. There's no doubt he's got a bit of upside and a bit of talent. Just I found that race probably the toughest race of the day. So yeah. Johnny got the boot. Was it John Allen? Oh yeah, it was John Allen on it. Yeah.
Mick Kent was furious.
Decent replacement. Yeah, go back and watch it. It should have won. Even
part owner.
They went so slowly early. He got so far out of his ground. But
there's a fair reason why he's tipping
it.
There
we go. Yeah. Well, good luck to you, Robbie. He's definitely a chance. He's a good horse, and he's probably if he goes and runs well here, he'd look to an Australian Guineas in a couple of starts, and I think up to a mile would definitely suit him as well. So good luck to you, Robbie. I hope he runs well.
He was shaking, mate. Robbie's just on one of the comments here. We fired him. I think we've triggered him. Very good, Robbie. Well, best of luck. Best of luck in the Autumn Stakes there on the weekend, Robbie, and thanks for sending in your comments. Add some entertainment to the show. Very good. That'll do us, I think, Trent. We've gone through it all. All our previous Caulfield and Randwick will be up on racingbet.com.au probably at some point tomorrow, unless you're ready before then.
Mine's done. I'll put it up tonight. And I've also got a runner-by-runner preview of the Orr Stakes. So if you want a little bit more in-depth comments on every horse, and as well as my proper speed map that you can see, head over to the website as well, and that's all up there now for you. So yeah, it's exciting times. We're in racing. We've got Group 1 racing for the next however many weeks.
I'm just waiting for this heat to go in WA because it's been about 43 degrees once again today, and it seems like every week we do this show, I'm just sitting here sweating. So I'm looking forward to a cooler change. All right, that'll do us. Thank you very much, mate. Thanks to Bet Deluxe for sponsoring this week's episode. Like I said, you can find all our stuff on racingbet.com.au. It'll be all there freely available to view. And hopefully we've got some winners for you throughout the course of the weekend. We'll be back to do it all again next week. In the meantime, thanks for your company.